welcome into the studio at Two Girls Treasure. I'm Diane Pruitt. I'm your proprietor here in Florence, South Carolina. Stop in anytime. We had the most lovely guest just stop by, so I'm a little bit later starting this morning than I intended, but it's so wonderful to meet so many people from so many different places. They were a joy. They were an absolute joy. All right, so our spring cleaning continues. We're going to put one more coat of Snowy Day on our beautiful Edwardian chair, and we have stripes to add to our spring planter and hummingbird feeder holder. I'm excited about the way that's turning. I love it. So we're going to get to that. Let's throw some more paint on this and make sure it is coated very well. Of course, yesterday I wanted to put a light coat on this surface because there's so much architecture. I didn't want to gum it up with paint. I didn't want to lose the details. So thin coats are always a blessing in that instance. And of course, I'm wearing black today while I'm painting in white. So let me see if I can grab an apron real quick because I'd like not to be covered completely. Oh, I'm going to wear this. Y'all, this is a throwback from way back. Who else has worn these lovely Rethunk Junk paper aprons? If you've been to the studio, you've probably worn one. You might even own one. But they're sturdy, y'all. They hold up really well. And until I find where I hid my apron from myself, this is going to have to do. But I need to keep... I wore black. I wore black to paint white. Let's dive in because I really want to get this chair done and get my stripes moving forward. I hope you are enjoying the process here. And if you missed yesterday's tutorial, thank you for coming today. If you caught yesterday's tutorial, thank you for coming back. Painting is, for me, a great joy. It's very therapeutic, very relaxing. And there's a sense of accomplishment with finishing something and making it beautiful again. And I think we should all have a sense of accomplishment each day. This world is in disarray. Make sure you take care of yourself. This part of the world is not in disarray. This part of the world is doing really well. We are cleaning up. We are getting ready for next week's craft show here at the Petey State Farmers Market. Come out and join us and celebrate all of the regional and local crafters, artisans. There's so many people that make amazing things. Come celebrate them. Come see what they do. Talk to them, find out what their inspirations are. Buy some things from them. Support their beautiful little businesses. And the flowers are starting to come in, so it's getting near time to celebrate spring. Of course, we have a frost warning coming, so this t-shirt will not last me one more day. But we had a weird warm-up early, so stands to reason we got too excited about the temperatures. They'll come back, though. We do need the spring cool so that everything grows like God intended for it to. Welcome in. Say good morning if you stopped in and I didn't see you pop on. And if you're here already, thank you. Thank you for stopping in and supporting our precious small business. These tutorials help us pay for our studio time, our studio materials, but only when they are watched and engaged with. So by all means, like, share, copy and paste it over onto Facebook, invite people, subscribe. All those things help us, and we appreciate it. You don't have to buy a thing from me. It'd be nice if you did, but you don't have to. Just like and subscribe is sufficient support. There we go. I knew that would come out. I don't want to get rid of it because those are the original springs and ties, and we're going to make it look fantastic. Again, this is such a neat and unique chair. And we want to make it look great again. So a little bit of snowy day to brighten the finish. And then we have to decide what kind of glazing we're going to use to highlight all of this amazing architecture. Because this has beautiful detail to it, lots of carving. We just have to decide how we're going to accentuate that to make it really pop. Suggestions are welcome. Drop them in the comments. And don't yell at me for painting this chair. It was painted to begin with. The manufacturer painted this chair, so don't yell at me for it. I'm not painting something that was never painted before. I'm just freshening it because it needs it. But don't yell at me for it. And I think I used all of the water in my spray bottle last night. Mel and I were painting a shelf, and I think I used all of my water. Sometimes when I'm painting and I want to smooth out the finish that I'm working on, I will give it a little spritz, and that helps. I'm going to scoot the chair over for just a quick second and see if I've got water left. I do. I've got enough. Let me grab this, because especially around the area of the arms with all of this detail, I don't want to gum any of this up with extra paint. So I just want to lightly cast over it with some water. That'll help smooth it and give it a great finish. The paint will self-level, but because I want it to really be smooth with all of this detail work, sometimes it can be a little tough to make it smooth out when you're putting it on. So a little spritz of water goes a long way toward making the finish nice and smooth and even. This is a water-based acrylic paint. This is Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura. Based in the southern United States, out of Millen, Georgia. Absolutely simple to use. 54 colors. Endless, almost endless recipes to mix new colors, which I love. Glazes, metallics, we have that. And it's water-based, soap and water cleanup, made in the USA, so we have that. I'm going to switch brushes because I have some surface back here to cover. Still a little bit yellowy, but more coverage than we had to begin with, and we'll do some more and it'll be even better. Every time you put a nice thin coat on, it gets better and better. Got a little too much water in the brush, so I'm going to tamp some of it off. I'm just squeezing it out on a paper towel here. Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here. All right. And as I go across the ends, I'm going to check my edges, my ridges, make sure everything is in place, covered, but with no ridges. We don't want gummed up paint, not anywhere. So we're going to finish over this very gently, and then we're going to take our smaller brush, squeeze the water out of it. Boy, it got messy yesterday. I don't know that I want to use this today. Let's see. We're going to fill in these holes. Today we're going for full coverage in these holes. I did not like that green gold. It looked kind of like, I don't know. It didn't look good. And it's going to scatter the brush. Once I wash this brush out, I'll smooth the bristles back out and it'll be usable again. It's not always the case, but if it's terrible, I'll just toss it and we'll use another brush. We don't want any paint pooling in the small areas. Because it will. It's hard for you to see on camera, and I'm right up in front of it, so I can see it really well. But we don't want it to pool on those edges. Then, crazy, we're going to need to spin this around and check the other side and make sure we didn't shove any paint through from the back to the front and cause a problem with the finish on the front. And I don't think we really did. It looks just fine. I'll dust over it real carefully just to be sure we didn't shove any paint through and make any drips or runs. There we go. All right, back around. Back around to the back side. I'm going to scoot this mirror over just a little bit. There we go. Because we don't really want the white paint on that very beautifully dark wood mirror. Okay. And then right back around. This beautiful oval shape. It's not full oval, is it? But it is lovely. But let's make sure we have good coverage all the way around the back side. Even here, even where we're going to fill in with fresh fabric. We just want it to look really nice. We'll get there. We've got to decide what that fabric's going to look like. I love this chair. What do you think? A floral, but I don't know that I want a floral on here. You know, a stripe would be lovely. And not a multicolored stripe, like a white on white stripe or a blue on blue stripe. I don't know about the contrast, but I think it would be an option. There we go. Now, I don't know if that's a flaw in the paint. Well, it is now. Let's get that off of there. And let's fill that back in. There we go. Just feather that back in nice and light and easy. No drips, no runs. We're not here for that. Check your ridges as you're going and your edges to make sure that you don't have any pooling of paint. When you have a lot of architecture and a flat brush, you risk the paint pooling. Same thing with the architecture. You've got a lot of architecture. If you put too much paint on all at one time, it'll pool up. And then when it's dry, you can fix it. I can fix it. But it's kind of, it's just extra time that I don't want to take to do that. I'm going to spray this so it lays down nice and smooth. There we go. And we'll come around this side. And then this piece will be done for the day. And we're going to let it sit and dry. And then we'll come back in with our touch-up coat. 2 coats, 2 good coats, and then perhaps 1 good touch-up coat to fill in areas that didn't get covered. That's really about all you're going to need, especially when you're going over another white. Now, covering a white with a white is probably the most difficult coverage there is because it becomes hard to see where you did and did not paint. Even with the best lighting, it's still difficult to make sure that you've covered everything well. So sometimes it takes a third and a fourth and a fifth look, and sometimes it takes an extra set of eyes. So if you have someone that you can work with that can look at your finish before you call it finished, then you've got something special. An extra set of eyes is always helpful. Not to criticize your work, but to help make sure you have good coverage. Of course, if they're critical of your work, maybe get new friends. I have great friends. They encourage me even when my work is bad. And sometimes that happens. And I have a lovely husband. He encourages me even when my work is bad. All right, I'll get to the legs after the upper portion is dry and stable. We've got a lot of humidity today, so a terrible storm rolling in. So we're going to have a lot of moisture in here, and that means our dry time will increase, and we're just going to have to be patient with it. There we go. All the way around, I think we're good to go here. We're going to let this sit and do its job. Of course, I'm going to retouch again because I'm here and I've got the brush in my hand. This is why I have the apron on. All right, a little bit more here, and then I really am going to leave it alone. I just want to make sure I cover this up. This is where that blackish greenish gold was, and it's going to take some time to cover that up. But that's looking good. Oh, that's looking so good. All right, we're going to put our white, our snowy day, we're going to put this away. And I'm going to spin this chair out of the way. There we go. Back out of the way. We're going to back it up just a little bit more. There we go. Because I've been working on this in between different projects. This is on a roller dolly, just kind of sitting. You can see it down there at the bottom. I got the stripes done. The upper portion stripes need to be finished soaked. I'm going to roll the roller dolly out of the way, and I'm going to tip you up. Look how beautiful that ruby red is. That's one of my favorites. I'm going to grab the tape, and we're going to start taping. And I'm going to do the top exactly like I did the bottom. I'm not going to start from the center. I want my stripes, top and bottom, to be the same. So I'm going to start right here at the corner, just like I did on the bottom. So here comes the tedious portion of the program, the taping. Nothing exciting here. But absolutely necessary. Now remember, the last time we did stripes, all I did was take 2 small pieces as placeholders, laid them in side by side, because that's the width of our red stripe. So we're going to leave that right there, and then we'll come beside it here, and that's how we're going to stripe it. And we've got architecture here. We've got a curved surface here that we didn't have on the bottom, and that's just fine. There we go. Just means our stripes are going to have a little bit more character on this top section. And I'll lay that in. I try to get it side by side without overlapping it and without leaving a gap. It's over the top of my head, so that's a little challenging. But we're off to a good start with our stripes. There we go. And we've got a hook right here. I'm going to leave that. That's where our red is going to be anyway, so I don't want to disturb that. And I painted it red. That's where we're going to hang our hummingbird feeders and our planters. We may not hang our planters from up here. We may just hang our hummingbird feeders. Or we might hang the feeders from here and the planters from here. I don't know. We'll see. I guess it depends on what plants we buy or that we basketize to go on here. Got a gap right there. Let me fill it in. There we go. But if we're going to have cold temperatures the weekend, and then it'll start springing again next week, then I think we'll have this done just in time for not only the hummingbirds, but also the beautiful flowers. And I don't know about you, but I'm here for that. There we go. And almost to the edge. Now, since I was late this morning, I really want to take the time, but I really don't have extra time to take. We are trying to get ready for the shows. We just brought some new furniture pieces in, so if you haven't come by the store, come see what we have in stock for you. Check our listings on our website and buy some of your favorite pieces. And we're out of tape too, so we'll do our stripes on here, and then we'll move around the curve and do some more stripes as we go. Let me grab our, oh, we used this one. We sure did. This is mushroom. Love this color. 50/50 hazelnut and true gray. I know that's backwards. Hi. Hi, Asher. Thanks for being here. Okay. We'll crack this open. I put these in mason jars because I liked being able to mix them and display them like this. They displayed really nicely. They still do. We're just back here in the studio with them. Let me grab a brush I can use for our striping. This one's perfect. And let's fill in those grooves. Color that in. Nice light first coat. We'll come back and we'll do it again after it's dry and we go all the way around. There we go. And I think on the bottom, it took me 2 coats to cover. I did do the top very rich in red, and that's okay. It gave it a nice base coat, and then when I put the glazing on, it made it look exactly like an old school circus top, or when the carnival came to town. You remember how cool that used to look? All right. Oh, we're going to take these off. They don't go there. Not when I'm painting. There we go. All right. Looks good for a first coat. All right. We're going to have to take the rest of the day and work other things besides our paint projects, but we are making progress because the chair has a good second coat on it, and we will pick out some fabric, or we'll consult with Ruth and see what color fabric we want to work with. We've got the second set of stripes on our planter and hummingbird feeder holders started. We've got a roller that we can make it work with, so we can roll it in, roll it out, move it around when we want to. Seems legit. Plus, we can put some planters on the bottom of it. I like that. And we're getting closer to that cupboard, and I did use AI to show several different color combinations in black, dark blue, so midnight, farmhouse navy, I think Pine Shadow, hmm or in a white. And I don't know that I'm in love with the white. I don't know that I'm in love with it, but that's getting prep work done because when we get started, I want to just start and go. But if you have a favorite color that you think you want to see that piece done in, hop over to our Facebook page and take a look at the post and weigh in on the vote for the color for that beautiful Victorian cabinet that we're putting together. And I am still searching for the hardware because I want to make sure the hardware is right to go on it. What's on there has to come off. And oh, it's going to look so good. But we're going to start on that, get a good primer coat on it because it's old wood and we don't want anything bleeding through. But weigh in on the color choices for that. Tomorrow's Friday. We won't be here. We're going to take the day and do nothing but wait on our customers in the store. Fridays are very busy around here. Stop in to see us. We are at the PD State Farmers Market, a half mile off I-95 on Highway 52 in Florence, South Carolina. Visit us online at twogirlstreasure.com. Stop in and just say hello. I'm Diane Pruitt, your proprietor of Two Girls Treasure. We're in the studio, and we'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here today. We'll look forward to another in the studio on Monday morning. Bye, y'all.